Hello. Welcome to Ramana's Informal Logic. In this video, I am going to tell you how to use informal logic in your day-to-day life, so that you can be successful. By the way, I am Ramana. And I have been a teacher who taught logic for 2 decades. I taught more than 100,000 students during my almost 4 decades of career. I have been a Pearson author for GMAT. Now, with that said, we should jump into the topic. Informal logic, how to use it in your everyday life. Using informal logic in your everyday life can improve your critical thinking and problem-solving skills, as well as help you arrive at the most rational solutions to everyday problems. The best way to do this is to follow the process of informal logic, which consists of the following 5 steps: premises, conclusion, assumptions, implications, and consequences. Here's how it works. Definition of informal reasoning. Informal logic is an umbrella term for both critical thinking and logical reasoning. Critical thinking is a set of principles that allows one to evaluate information and make decisions based on reason. Logical reasoning, also known as inductive or deductive reasoning, is a set of processes that support critical thinking by allowing one to extrapolate from observed facts. How to use informal logic in life. You use informal logic every day. Whether you realize it or not, there are some basic guidelines you follow when making important decisions. The problem is that people aren't always aware of these guidelines and make their decisions subconsciously. To make good decisions, we need to learn how critical thinking and logic apply in everyday life. By following a few guidelines for informal logic, we can avoid common mistakes and improve our decision-making skills. Here are some rules for using informal logic effectively. Here are 5 steps for practicing informal logic. 1. Learn about fallacies. Several logical fallacies occur frequently in our everyday lives. Once you know what they look like, you will be able to spot them easily and avoid them yourself. 2. Practice with friends. Find a friend who is willing to help with your informal logic practice. If you have trouble finding someone, try posting on social media or asking around at work. 3. Read books. There are many great books on informal logic out there, just check out Amazon. 4. Watch YouTube videos. Informal logic isn't taught in schools anymore, so if you want to learn more about it, YouTube might be your best bet. Try searching informal logic or critical thinking and see what comes up. 5. Attend conferences. Conferences are a great way to network and meet other professionals in your field. They're also a fun way to learn new things. If you find one that focuses on critical thinking or informal logic, definitely attend. How to use informal logic in life. 4 steps of formal reasoning. Let's use an example of informal logic or everyday reasoning. To formalize a logical argument, you follow these 4 steps. If your conclusion is false, then one of your premises must be false. If it is not true that all birds can fly and penguins are birds, then either all birds can fly is not true or penguins are birds is not true. But if both premises are true, and we know they are, then we have shown that our original conclusion must be false. It cannot be true that all penguins can fly. This is because there are 2 possibilities for why our conclusion could be false: either some birds can't fly, or penguins aren't actually birds. Both possibilities lead us to conclude that our original claim was wrong. This is what it means for an argument to be valid. The truth of its premises guarantees its truthfulness as well. 4 types of arguments. Logical arguments aren't black and white. Instead, they fall into one of 4 categories that are also referred to as types of argument: inductive, deductive, abductive, and ampliative. Each type is defined by how it approaches truth, not whether it reaches it or not. That's up for debate. We'll take a look at each type of argument and discuss its characteristics. We'll also give you some examples so you can see how each works in practice. In doing so, we hope to equip you with enough knowledge about informal logic to use it more effectively in your everyday life. So what are these types of argument? Let's find out. 1. Inductive arguments. Inductive arguments start with observations and lead to conclusions. They begin with facts and then move on to generalizations. They often rely on statistics and other research-based evidence. 2. Deductive arguments. Deductive arguments move from premises or hypotheses to logical conclusions or theories. If A is true, then B must be true. If C happened, then D must have happened. If A occurred, then F must have occurred, etc. An abductive argument moves from an observation of a phenomenon to its probable cause. Someone notices something happening but can't explain why it's happening or why it has occurred. After much investigation, she comes up with her best guess about what caused her observation, because there just might not be another possible explanation. 3. Ampliative arguments. Ampliative arguments involve changing definitions to suit our needs. They're often used in philosophy and math. For example, if you were discussing whether or not Pluto is a planet, it isn't, you'd have to discuss whether the planet is defined as a large celestial body that orbits around a star. Pluto does, round celestial body that orbits around a star. Pluto doesn't, or some other definition entirely. 5 fallacies. An informal fallacy is an error of reasoning that is committed when there is a problem with the form or structure of an argument. Typically, an informal fallacy occurs when someone reasons according to a mistaken assumption. While these errors can be either intentional or unintentional, they are still considered fallacies because they cause us to reach false conclusions. So what exactly are fallacies? Below we will cover 5 common fallacies and how you can use logic in your everyday life. 1. Ad hominem, Latin for to, against the man. Attacking one's opponent instead of his arguments by pointing out irrelevant facts about him or her such as character flaws, affiliations, past statements, etc., rather than addressing their position on its own merits. 2. Argument from authority. Arguing that something must be true because an authority figure says it is true. 3. Argument from ignorance. Asserting that something must be true simply because it hasn't been proven false yet, also known as argumentum ad ignorantium. 4. Straw man fallacy, misrepresenting someone else's position so it can easily be attacked, and then claiming victory after doing so. 5. Red herring. A red herring is an irrelevant topic introduced into a discussion to divert attention away from the original issue. Thanks for watching. If you got some knowledge, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Thank you.